Hey everybody, ronarray here, and 3.25 PoE reveal been absolutely insane. There are so many changes. You'll definitely like some of them and will dislike some of the others. However, I think it will change how the game is moving to the future. And in that video I wanted to showcase the most important changes that, in my opinion, are going to affect the game. Also, please let me know which changes your favorite down there in the comments, because it's very interesting what players are thinking about that. So one of the biggest changes is pretty much the league mechanic. The league mechanic is going to give you an opportunity to build your own little town. In your little town you will be able to do a lot of things to pretty much enhance your experience. You will be able to get some workers, they will be able to get resources, and pretty much mine a lot of stuff. They also can even run maps for you. So you will be able to add map devices here and add maps into those devices. So dedicated workers will be able to run those maps for you. Well, the game now plays itself. And one part that everybody waited for, boats. So boats are going to give you an opportunity to pretty much trade with other places in Ray class and a little beyond. You will be able to go and send your little minions and workers to pretty much come back with the loot for you. There also will be a chance that you will be able to lose them. So that's like a whole mechanic based around trade routes, which you will be able to just use to get as much loot and currency as possible. It's hard to say right now how engaging that mechanic will be, however, it's some kind of a bot league that we pretty much expected. Another change that comes together with the town, currency market. In currency market, you will be able to exchange all in-game currency with other players. So if somebody is ready to buy currency for you, you can pretty much sell it to them. That way, if you have, for example, Chaos Orbs and somebody else put Divines in there, you can buy Divines for Chaos Orbs without interacting with the person directly. That's been a huge change because we've been waiting for some kind of market for so long. People have been discussing it for at least like 5 or even 7 years. And that change is going to automate a lot of currency interactions. I also think that right now, side change is going to pretty much lower the price for a lot of currency. Because it will be much easier to buy this currency. And since it will be easier, I think the price is definitely going down. However, we will still need to see how exactly it's going to affect the whole PoE market, because market is very complicated. And I think it also will damage the whole situation with the trading boards, because there will be less point to run those, since you can still automate some part of the trade with a new addition such as currency market. Another thing that's been pretty much anticipated by a lot of players and right now is added to the game is pretty much gold. So gold is coming to Path of Exile. You will be able to mostly use gold to pretty much work with your town, to pay the workers, to get some additional buildings in your town and stuff like that. You will also be able to respec your belt with the gold and pretty much roll items with the gold, which could be very cool because those items that showcased in the video get a pretty high modifiers. So I think it will be one of the best way to randomize and gamble items. That gold is also will be dropping from monsters, and that's going to be one of the way to farm it. So right now gold is definitely going to change the whole economy of the game, because it's going to add at least one more way of currency and a few additional ways how you can spend it. Another change that I'm definitely thinking going to affect the game very heavily, it's pretty much bringing old leagues back. You will be able to encounter Affliction, Sentinels, and Calendar Mirror. Calendar Mirror, I just think it's not that important because you will just be able to get some items in the process. However, Sentinels and Affliction are going to buff your farming experience significantly, especially if they could combine in one map. But even if it's not impossible because all those encounters are going to be random it seems, Sentinels and Affliction can both provide you a lot of additional quantity and pretty much drop in some additional items for you. So I think it's going to help heavily with farming in that league. Another thing that's going to heavily affect farming, it's pretty much removed quantity from items. So quantity is removed from most of the items, and right now you will be unable to play Magic Find in its old power. However, since Sentinel and Affliction are back, I think they will be able to compensate for it at least a little. The rarity pretty much stays, so maybe some kind of Magic Find still would be possible. We will still need more time to pretty much try it and test it. Another thing is pretty much Tier 17 difficulty nerfed. So right now monsters in Tier 17 are going to receive less health and less damage as well, especially less health. So much more builds will be able to farm Tier 17, and I think right now it will be much easier for average players to pretty much play those mobs and get some benefits from them. However, the amount of benefits will be less, especially when Magic Find is removed. The biggest question is, will we be able to get additional bonuses in there, especially together? It seems like Affliction and Sentinels will be able to roll in Tier 17, so some kind of drops are definitely going to be there. So talking about other build changes that I consider exciting, we have a tremendous melee buffs. So I expect all my builds, melee builds that I played before to perform better, such as Rage Cliff for example. Because right now all the numbers for melee skills are pretty much rise significantly, and most of the melee builds are going to feel much better. There's also no more melee totems that are completely gone from the game, and banners are now has free reservation, and you will be able to just use the banner as a totem, so well, banners are currently totems it seems. We're also getting a lot of max resistances on the tree, especially close to the Berserker, so I think it's like a buff of the Berserker, even if indirect ones. So Juggernaut, Berserker, and Marauder overall is going to receive a lot of cool bonuses because tree itself is pretty much becoming much more powerful. Another thing that's pretty much makes me very happy, it's item stats buffs. For health and pretty much better bases for energy shield. It's going to indirectly buff most of my life stacking builds that I played before, such as Dark Pact or Soul Rend that I did on my channel. I think most of them will be revisited in the new league, and I think they are going to be even stronger right now, which is absolutely awesome. Feel free to check them out. Another thing that I consider completely insane, and I think it's going to help a lot with creating builds, is unique weapon effects could be used as enchants for rare weapons right now. I think that's an amazingly strong buff. As confirmed during a Q&A session after the stream, you will be able to use unique weapon buffs from the similar types. So if you're taking the buff from like 200 hammer, you will be able to buff it on 200 hammer too, and you can buff it for example to 100 axe. However, even like that, it's going to provide so many cool bonuses for rare weapons. And I think that league is going to be dominated by rares with those unique enchants, which are going to make many of the builds much more powerful. Also, Recombinators are back. Based on what been stated in the video, I think they're going to be a little weaker. However, even the idea that Recombinators are back are definitely going to open possibilities for crazy rare items, especially combined with new enchant mechanics. There are also Ascendancy reworks. Raider is now completely gone from the game, and we have a new Ascendancy called Warden. It's pretty much looking a little like Raider, and it has a set of pretty cool abilities that you will be able to see on the screen right now. Most of them are very nice, and I'm sure it will pretty much find some kind of niche, mostly in elemental heat based builds. Tincture is back together with new Ascendancy Warden, and it's going to pretty much determine how well Warden will be received and how many people are going to play that. Because if Tinctures are going to be strong, I think Warden is going to be pretty popular. However, if Tinctures are not going to be strong, or it will be much harder to use them or to get them, I think Warden will be less popular. Because right now that Ascendancy is pretty much locked with the Tinctures in my opinion. Another Ascendancy that finally getting a rework after so much time is Gladiator. So you can see a change on the screen and it's looking pretty decent. It's mostly lead you to the bleed gameplay because most of the buffs are block or bleed related. It's also not heavily affecting bleed balls and mostly affecting melee changes. However, I'm sure there will be at least a few cool Gladiator builds, and I will see if I will work on one of them as well. So that's been the quick summary that I could come up with based on what we should expect in 3.25. I would say a lot of those changes I definitely like. My favorite is probably the whole idea with the bots, because bots are going to be such a new mechanic. I'm not sure how well it's going to be received in PoE, however, it's definitely one of my favorites. Another favorite is definitely will be a melee buff, because I played melee a lot and I did melee builds as well. I'm really happy that right now the numbers are going to be better and it will just feel better to play that. I can't wait for the league to start. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe for more RPG content. I'm definitely going to do some starters for the league as well. See you next time, guys.